Hello, and welcome to another EPIC Tool safety video. Today, we're going to be talking about the exciting yet potentially dangerous world of power tools. In this film, I will talk about all of the power tools we use to build our robots and how to use them safely, with the exception of common tools you should already know how to use. Please keep in mind that many of the tools we use can be extremely dangerous if used incorrectly, so make sure to exercise caution when using these tools. To hear more about what safety precautions to take when using power tools, please check out our general safety video. The link is in the description, but for now, remember these important things. Always remember to wear safety glasses. Remove any loose clothing with sleeves such as sweatshirts or jackets. Remove any jewelry which is at risk of being caught in the machinery. Tie any long hair back so that it is no longer than shoulder length, and avoid wearing gloves near rotating equipment. Some of the machinery we use also requires ear protection. This applies to any tool that is 85 decibels or louder. In most cases, saws are going to require ear protection. Now, let's get into it. The first power tool we use is the 3D printer. We use the 3D printer to create three-dimensional objects that we use for our robot or for fun. We create the object using a CAD model and send it to the printer, which starts to make the object. Make sure to keep your hands away when running this machine. The nozzle, build plate, and part can get very hot and cause burns. Next is the portable bandsaw. Just like a regular bandsaw, it has a long, sharp, and circular blade. The saw is moved by motor with wheels, which makes the blade spin. You can cautiously push a piece of material through it and it will be cut. Don't use excessive force to push the material into the blade, and keep your fingers out of the blade's way in case the work or your fingers slip. A belt sander is a pretty simple tool, used for shaping and finishing materials such as wood and metal. Just grab the material you want to sand and turn it on. Then press the material to the sander and sand that thing down. Move the material from side to side and avoid the buildup of debris. Be careful when doing this, as touching the belt for even a quick second can cause painful abrasions. When working with metal, avoid touching the sanded part, as it can be hot enough to cause burns. If it becomes too hot to handle, dip the part in the water. When using a disc sander such as this one, always use the left side of the sander to prevent your work and its sparks from flying upward. The Derringer cutoff saw is another one of the many saws that we use here. This one is used for making straight and precise cuts on metal and plastic. Avoid using excessive force when pulling the blade into the work to avoid blade damage. Parts are clamped in place to securely hold the work while cutting, and coolant can be used to keep the metal parts cool when cutting. Make sure to clean up spilled coolant from the floor to avoid slippage. Die grinders are very versatile tools. They could be used to cut and sand. When using them, be sure to keep your face away from any sparks and wear an N95 mask if your cutting creates dust, as it can be easily inhaled. A drill press can be used to make holes in just about any material depending on the drill bit being used. Just be sure to clamp your work down before drilling. If you're drilling a metal, be sure to apply cutting lubricant to your work before drilling. Drill bits come in many different sizes. Smaller drill bits should spin faster than larger ones. You can find an approximate speed setting for the drill size and material under the pulley cover and adjust the belts to produce the proper speed. The lathe is a machine that pushes a tool against a rotating part. It is typically used to fabricate parts or features that have a circular cross-section. Always make sure the material being cut is firmly clamped to the chuck, and remove the chuck key before turning on the machine. When cutting steel parts, lubricant is recommended. Also be sure to keep your hands away from the rotating chuck. The mill is a lot like the drill press, except in addition to moving up and down, the work can also be moved from side to side. This allows the mill to make both flat and vertical faces, as well as creating holes. Like the lathe, always make sure the work is clamped securely and keep your hands away from the rotating spindle. Take caution when handling end mills, as they could be very sharp. The soldering iron or soldering gun is used to melt solder so that it could be used to flow into the joint between metal items, wires, or components. The soldering iron can get extremely hot and cause immediate damage to whatever it touches. To avoid potential damage, be sure to return the soldering iron into the holder. The table saw is, well, exactly what it sounds to be like. It's a table with a saw, and it's used to cut material with precision, like most of our other saws. Because of the exposed blade, this saw is very dangerous, so while students can help handle materials, only our skillful and experienced mentors can operate it. The welding machine is used to electrify and heat a piece of metal in order to weld it to another piece of metal. There are many types of welding, but we almost exclusively use tungsten inert gas welding, as it is excellent at joining the aluminum used in our robots. This can be tricky, but with time can be mastered by students. The electric arc used in the process creates intense heat and light, so be sure to use correct safety gear so you don't get hurt. Some important safety gear include heat-resistant gloves, vests, and welder's masks to shield your face from the bright light and hot material. A laser cutter is a machine that cuts material using a high-powered laser. Material is placed on the bed inside the machine. Once the transparent lid is closed, the laser moves along a pre-programmed path to cut or etch the material. The laser cutter can cut wood, paper, cardboard, and cast acrylic, but it cannot cut metals. Always turn on the fan to eliminate any toxic fumes. Avoid cutting reflective materials, and wear these cool safety glasses while running the machine to prevent severe eye damage. The machine can start a fire, so never leave it unattended. Always have a halon or other electronics approved fire extinguishers available in the case of a fire emergency. The CNC or computer numeric control mill uses pre-programmed toolpaths to automatically cut the material into desired shapes based on previously CADed or computer-aided designed models. This ensures high accuracy parts with tight tolerances. Because toolpaths can be automated, CNC can be very efficient at cutting three-dimensional objects, particularly where multiple parts of identical designs are required. Always make sure the work is clamped securely in the vise before running the machine. And there you have it! That's all for the power tools that we currently use on our team. This also concludes our 3-part series on all of the tools that we use on our team. If you would like to watch the other 2 parts, you can check them out here. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like the video and share it with all your mechanically inclined friends. And make sure you are subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to stay epic.